Are you getting the
sound? Oh,
the
there
sound?
it goes. I hear
Yeah. Guys, welcome to our review of Ahsoka episode 4. And wow, holy crap, what an excellent episode. I thought that this was probably the best from what I've seen so far. We had, man, Baylan goes hard. Baylan's fighting style I freaking love. The music was excellent. The battles were excellent. We're moving along the plot. We got rid of the stupid MacGuffin. We're moving forward, and there's some reveals, and then, geez, like we are going play. Star Wars is taking risks again. Dave Filoni's definitely continuing Rebels. You definitely need to have watched Rebels and Clone Wars to understand what's happening here, unless maybe in a few episodes they start explaining it. I think episode 5, somebody said, is going to break the internet, so I think that they're probably going to do a lot of explaining here. So we'll see. So, but yeah, they're taking risks again. This is the best lightsaber battles. I was even noticing specific styles of lightsaber usage. You know, what I wanted to happen between Sabine Wren and her little Shin girl fight, saber fight happened, so that was good. There's a small disappointment with you know, theory crafting. We were doing some theory crafting on who Marrok is, and turned out to be. I actually also prepared myself for this and tried to prepare at least my viewers that, you know, Disney usually chooses the most simple explanation, the simple thing. So it was simple. But yeah, I thought it was a strong episode from a good series that I'm really enjoying. And it seems like at least Star Wars has a direction. And it's as if Kathleen Kennedy and all the fuck-ups over there at LucasArts that really had no plan and no direction for the Disney sequel trilogy are now like, okay, who do we put in charge? Do we put Rian Johnson? Do we get, you know, J.J. Abrams, you know, and these people? And after none of those worked out, they're like, okay, we've got Dave Filoni. Let's let Dave Filoni do what Dave Filoni was doing in Clone Wars and in Rebels, and just continue it. And honestly, from the final reveal here and you know, the world between worlds, we have the potential to not necessarily replace the Disney sequel trilogy, but sidestep the Disney sequel trilogy and make his own trilogy that feels a lot more Star Wars, with Thrawn and the heir to the Empire. I would love to see some movies and movie-level budgets and movie-level lengths with Thrawn at the helm and kicking the stupid New Republic's ass for a while until he crosses the line, and then the heroes have to, I don't know, beat him up. In movies, I would much rather enjoy that sort of Disney trilogy than I did, unfortunately, what they did with our beloved characters and fucked them up. And honestly, I was thinking to myself, you know what? If they're going to have to deal with Thrawn, it's not as if Luke is just going to be absent the whole time, so maybe they can bring in a young badass Luke to help her. Fuck, even Han, even Leia, even Lando. There's potential here for a whole new Disney trilogy in movies that feels far more Star Wars than what we got. Helmed by Dave Filoni, who, you know, the understudy of George Lucas. So very happy with what I'm seeing here. I will say I am very scared with how they're going to. You should be, Yoda. How they're going to integrate, you know, a world between worlds into it. Because honestly, when I watched a world between worlds in Rebels, I didn't like the idea. Don't like the whole idea of all, you know, timey-wimey and alternate timelines and stuff. So as long as it's kept, you know, very muted, or not muted, but surface kind of, like you could just interact and then that's it. You can't like completely erase entire, even though I want them to completely erase the Disney trilogy, I still don't think they're going to do it. So I hope they keep it at surface level. So obviously I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. So.
Oh, hey, Joe's back.
Yes,
Hey,
I am back.
that's
And I was gonna say, so far, yes, this is the best episode. They ramped up the action. I really liked everything that was going on. And didn't I watched the previous episode?
Yeah, so that's what I was
like,
gonna ask.
I wasn't like, what the fuck? You can do that?
Yeah. So
He's like,
let's get real quick your rating on episode 3, just because you weren't here. The shortest. It was short. It was the space battle, and it was that. Yeah,
I'll probably give that one a 4.
A 4.
Yeah,
below
a
average.
little bit below average, because I was like, what the fuck? You can do that now? She's just like there
You didn't
blocking
like
the TIE fighter stuff and then
Yeah.
just ripping it apart. I was like, okay, well, that's weird.
And maybe want to see
weird.
Luke standing on his X-Wing with his lightsaber deflecting the Death Star blast. It's like, no, bro.
You got to do 2 with that one.
2.
Y'all
Oh,
are
you
so
too.
funny. You're so funny, Alex. You're so funny. I mean, that shit is funny.
Yeah.
But that's a little too far. Obviously,
was
they're not
too
in play.
far.
No, it's not. Not in my opinion. I fucking enjoyed it. I thought it was awesome. If you've seen Clone Wars and Rebels, you'll see that they do stuff like that in the cartoons. Now,
again,
did
you
it
got
translate well into live action? There's where you can make your argument. You say, I don't think it translated well into live action. But, you know, so I thought I liked it, but you thought it was a little ridiculous, so
I
you
thought
pushed
so
it,
too, because I
pushed it a
feel
little
like,
too
all right,
far.
well, shit, we could just have them magnetize and just have those Jedi's and our X-wings. We'll win every battle.
Losing 6 points for that? Ouch. Okay,
Yeah,
well,
just-
what
yeah.
else? What else on episode 3 did you?
It was just like basic, still looking for the map, doing all this stuff. I wanted to get away from it, and which we did the next episode. So I was just kind of like,
Just an
I wasn't
in-between
feeling it.
kind of
Yeah,
thing?
it was. I wasn't really feeling it.
Okay.
This one, though, I
4 out of
really,
10
Yeah,
from Joe.
this one I really did like.
Okay, cool. So, Alex, what did you think about Ahsoka episode 4? Fall. By the way, the episode title is Fallen Jedi. I think this is as close as we're going to get to Dark Jedi, because I've been referring to these two as Dark Jedi. They're not, but they're Fallen Jedi.
Oh, I thought it was because of the cliff.
She did
I
fall.
think it is that too. Like Mandalorian usually has double meanings. Joe found the double meanings.
Yeah, it's pretty good stuff.
Nice.
I mean, people were probably upset that their fan theories it was kind of weird to see some of the choices that they made, and it's just like,
yeah. I did do a fan theory.
wasn't
guys
Ezra
are too
after all.
But
yeah.
I did plant that seed. I think there's a possibility that Marrok is just Marrok, and he found an Inquisitor Saber. With that is Star Wars, for better or worse, is simple, and I just don't have any faith that they would pull off something crazy like that, because and that's exactly what it was, and I'm disappointed by it. However, it is rooted in the lore as much as, you know, the theory, but because this has been deconfirmed, it actually lends more weight to an even crazier theory. Because if Marrok was not actually played by Sam Witwer, then we need to figure out who he lent his voice to. And the theories on who he lent his voice to we'll talk about in the spoiler section. And that's an even crazier theory. And that's one that if that happens, I don't know if I'm going to like it. We'll talk about it in spoilers.
I feel like you guys are way too creative. Like, you always like, oh, create this amazing thing, hype it up.
I really
and
wish
Disney,
that
you've
Disney
done it
would
with
be
Mandalorian,
would be
with
more
with like
creative.
a whole bunch of other ones. You guys are like, hell, this would be amazing.
Yeah.
It would be.
But they didn't do
I
it.
think you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
I do think you guys are right, is that the fans can be way more creative
Yes,
than
and
Disney.
that's the sad part,
And I wish
though.
that they would consult, I don't know, with lorists or whatever, so that they can get the juicy bits in there. But in this instance, it's Dave Filoni. I know he loves lore and juicy bits, so this is just one that he missed. He had a different type of juicy bit, which is Savage Opress. So the way Marrok dies is almost exactly like how Savage Opress dies. Savage Opress is Darth Maul's brother in who dies, and was it Rebels, or Clone Wars? It was Rebels, I think. And then, and he. The way he dies, you have that Night Sister witchcraft coming out of his body because he was a little bit empowered by that. So it's still rooted in lore, but the idea that it's just a dude in a suit and he's wielding the Inquisitor saber, I guess he found or something, it is a little disappointing. But yeah, Fans can be more creative. But what I'm saying is that one's a small miss, but I think a lot of the other theories are actually right. And when you do Star Wars theory, you're going to miss some, and that one, it didn't really upset me too much. It was disappointing to see play out, but it made total sense, and I was like, okay, cool, that's still within lore. Let's look at these other theories. Okay. Yeah. So what else? Alex?
Yeah, I mean, I think the episode was pretty good. There was a lot of action and stuff here. A lot of resolutions of things coming through, and so we're moving the plot along a little bit faster than we were. We were worried that they were going to kind of slow everything down. So it looks like we're
thought that this was going to happen at the end, right?
Yeah, I'm glad that we're getting there a little bit sooner. Yeah. I mean, but again, I think Dave Filoni and his fans, I think, fail to realize that there's a lot of times he misses the brief. That he's writing love letters to people from his previous stuff, right? Because I hear that all the time. It's like, this is a love letter, Rebels. This is a love letter to this. It's like, cool. And I'm glad that those people are loving the show. But there's a lot of people who, I mean, I'm even familiar with Clone Wars. I've watched almost every episode of Clone Wars. I watched the first season of Rebels. And there's stuff in here that's just like, man, I want to be part of this excitement too. You got to do a little bit more to bring everyone else in. And so especially if he's going to be, in charge of everything. I mean, if it's required reading that we got to go back and we got to go watch all of those things to, not just fully enjoy, but like, you really didn't like last episode. I gave it a slightly above average, but you actively didn't like it. And so it's just like, I'm wondering, how much we're going to get of that in this.
Yeah, no, I'm in agreement. I need more bridges.
Yeah.
More, exposition, I guess.
Exposition done right. And it can be done right. And so, I know about the World Beyond Worlds. I've seen the clips. I wanted to know how they were doing some of that stuff. I do not want that. I don't want anything.
When they first did it in Rebels, I didn't want it either.
I really don't want them making another way that, and now it's a joke and people have taken it too far where, lightsabers don't kill people anymore. But, I don't need another thing that ruins any sort of finality in Star Wars, right? So when the bad guy stabs the good guy and it's just like, oh, the good guy's not dead. Now, if the bad guy executes the good guy, it's like, oh, are we just going to go to the Rainbow Bridge and bring him back and go to a different timeline? I don't necessarily want any of that stuff. So I'm curious to see what they do with that stuff.
Yes, curious to see what they do. Hopefully they stick with the Jedi afterlife, the Force Ghost stuff that's already there, rather than, oh, he's actually alive, physically interactable, and he pulled Ahsoka through, and no. This doesn't make any sense because we haven't seen Force Ghosts physically interact, right? We did see the most powerful Force Ghost, Yoda, bring down lightning, but that's about it.
I was like, that's
not physical interaction. All right, so let's. I had a little section here that we were going to talk about some of the stuff that we had said in the last episode. Fans like to leave comments. So Alex made a point last time. The aristocrats, the rich people of the world, will pay to have their children be Jedi. But I don't think that's a possibility, and then there's too many Jedi across the world. I think that the only one that can train people to be Jedi effectively are Jedi. And they're not just going to take money to train somebody. Maybe some outcast Jedi here and there, but the actual Jedi Order is not going to be, so corrupt where you can pay them money and it's like, all right, well, we'll take your candidate that shouldn't be a candidate. If Hu Yang says, hey, you're not a candidate, then you're not a candidate.
But he said,
and there's nothing you can do because the Jedi feel like they're above everybody and above you.
Yeah,
I just think that they would say no.
Yeah, I'm not saying that they're paying for indulgences like the Catholic Church used to take. I'm just saying there's going to be people that have figured out Force, whether they're not from the Order itself, but there would be people. That's the problem that I have within the world building perspective is there would be someone like Ahsoka, like the people from the show that kind of leave the Order in one way or another.
That's
just go you want to pay me what to do what?
But that's very small scattered, in a handful rather than the, some people ran with your idea and were making it seem like there would just be hundreds of thousands of Jedi that could pay their way in. That's not how the Jedi Order works. They wouldn't do that. They guard their secrets to some extent. But anyways, and then and another one. Sabine has shot down way more maneuverable fighters in the Ghost before. In that scene where she's like boop 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 boop, and she doesn't know how to do it, and then they need to figure out how to do it.
Anticipate. Don't get me training.
Yeah, there's 4 seasons and I recommend you watch season 4. I'm going to tell Alex to watch season 4. I know Alex might eventually do it if I tell Alex. If I tell you, you're not going to fucking do it. But you can skip everything.
I got Disney now.
You can skip
own, right?
1, 2. Like,
I have to pay for it.
The Darth Maul stuff is awesome. Like, where okay, but anyways,
I do Clone Wars first.
I think it was for him, obviously.
For him, yeah.
So anyways, what I'm saying is that she shot down. She should be able to shoot those fighters down. She shot those fighters down immediately. But I think the show was a little concerned. They didn't want people to call her a Mary Sue. So I think there's some awareness that Sabine Wren is going to be a new character to some audiences, so they're trying to depower her a little bit so that they can power her up.
I wouldn't
again.
have minded that because, like, obviously she's like a Mandalorian.
You wouldn't have minded, but the fucking idiot channels
yeah, I
on
get that,
goddamn.
but she's a Mandalorian though, so she's
Yes,
like, okay, she's got training with shooting
she's
and
a
everything.
female,
That's fine.
and they're just going to call
I can
her Mary
believe that
Sue
as opposed to like doing Force stuff.
Sure, you can.
Yeah, but
You
so
can.
the problem is then they did exactly the opposite thing with the lightsaber, and it's like, wait a minute, how is she using a fucking lightsaber against an actual apprentice?
Well,
like
then
that's
you have not seen Rebels. So she
well.
trained,
We're talking about people who haven't seen Rebels, though.
Sure.
Yeah,
Yes.
like
So you made
down.
a person who has not touched a lightsaber in 8 years or done anything in 8 years is competing with someone who's got, it was like a Force user. It's like this.
That was one of my things
in the
as well.
episode. Well, okay. Well, then choose one. Are you saying
No,
that
like
I'm
I
saying
said, no,
you
'cause
said that they're trying
I
to make her not a
said-
Mary Sue by depowering her here,
by
but,
depowering her because she can't
But they
effectively fire?
but they overpowered here on this side. So I
I don't think she was overpowered. She lost the lightsaber fight. So if she was overpowered and then Mary Sue, then she would have won the lightsaber fight. And
I don't think she could have been able to
So
compete at all
To
in
hold
a
her off.
fight
I
against
think
a
that's
Force user.
ridiculous because she's a Mandalorian. So now I'm using the same logic that Joe would use to excuse it. That she's a Mandalorian. She knows how to fight with weapons, and she's also trained with a Jedi before actually using the darksaber. So that's why she's able to put up somewhat of a
Mandalorians train
fight.
with swords,
but still,
though?
Yes. And Mandalorian trains with all kinds of weapons,
Yeah.
pikes, halberds, all kinds of weapons. But specifically, she trained with the darksaber, which is essentially a lightsaber. Anyways, so but I'm just making the point that they're purposefully, depowering her on whether she can shoot down fighters and then building it up and making it more, because it's a show. You have to show, when they work together, they do well. When they work separate, they do poorly. And that's the point that they were hammering there. All right, so let's get to the actual episode. How do we do this? Usually we talk about it, we give a rating, and then we do the episode breakdown. So I guess let's talk about it a little bit more. Did you guys enjoy the lightsaber fights?
Yes. Yes,
And it seemed damn. Without getting into details, I mean, this is,
well, they're here. Like
we're
you
here.
watched
We're
it.
at episode
Spoilers.
4.
Yeah.
There's really no point. So let's go ahead. Let's give final verdicts for the episode, and then we'll get into the nitty gritty, so we can talk about why I think it's the best episode of this season so far.
For me, it's gonna get higher. It's gonna get an 8, highest one so far.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
All right, sweet.
Yeah, I also agree with an 8. I think that the entire episode is just action packed,
Yes,
right? And
that's
so
what-
we didn't get down into too much stuff so if you're a fan of Star Wars action, I think that you're going to be happy with this one.
Yeah, not only Star Wars action, but if you're really waiting for Star Wars to set up something new and set up something risky, now they could fall on their face. We could be here at the end of episode 5 or 6 and be like, well, we tried, but we fucked it up. But at least there. And so for me, it gets even higher because you have that potential, and because I have all of the payoffs of Rebels, and this ties into a lot of that. When Anakin says "Hello, Snips," every Clone Wars fan just went crazy. There's people just really enjoying that aspect of it. That they're just acknowledging it, and the music, the fights, the dialogue,
They destroy the map.
pacing, the fuck.
God.
Oh, I love Baylan. Baylan is like MVP,
No more
and he's not
map.
just a generic ass villain. The man has his own honor code. You know, I
Yes.
love that he's like, no, do not kill Sabine Wren. I just gave her my word that and so he kind of brings, and you could tell he cares about Shin. I'm gonna call her Shin from now on. And I think that's a fatherly love. I actually think he's her father, and so this is interesting stuff. Oh, and I like the fact that like he, from his perspective, in the Jedi Order perspective, before he left it for whatever reason, like Anakin is the destruction. He like murdered everybody, and so of course he thinks the apprentice is just going to carry on his legacy and kill and destroy things, and so he's
It's like he
like,
probably warped your mind too.
yeah,
so.
you of all people should probably understand what I'm trying to do, So, but obviously she fights him, so it's just real juicy. I like the potential. I like that Baylan didn't fucking die right here. I was wondering, they're just gonna kill him off. And
I was
get
like,
rid of him.
no. I really love this guy.
Yeah, there were parts where I thought Shin was at risk. So well executed. So I'm gonna go. I'm hovering between a 9 or a 10. I honestly think that this is the best Star Wars we've seen. This episode is the best Star Wars we've seen since The Mandalorian is season 1. Bits of season 2, just with Force users and going to a new galaxy and setting up this kind of stuff. They've really amped up their choreography as well. You can tell the difference between, say, Obi-Wan's lightsaber fights and the way they film something and the way they film the fights here. I can feel the different styles. Baylan is just like this, and his lightsaber is like a fucking broadsword. It's like William Wallace.
Well, he's huge.
Yeah, he's a big man. But even for a big man, he did that little spin and boom. That was just awesome. So I'm just loving it. I want to give it a 10. But I know when we get into the spoilers, I'll probably come down to a 9, a little individual. Now, what bothered me, I think what it is the motivation of Sabine to give him the map. I'm like, I'm going to trade. I'm going to let an entire galaxy burn because I want to see my friend.
There's what greater way to honor your friend's sacrifice to get rid of the greatest bad than to bring the guy back for no fucking reason.
Yeah, and I get that she's weak, and I think Baylan even dropped a line where it's like, Ahsoka's responsible for killing all your Mandalorian family, and I'm like, I guess I'm forgetting, how is she responsible? Somebody explain it to me. Maybe it was in Clone Wars or Rebels. Now even I'm lost, But okay, so if she has no family, I understand the feelings, but I think maybe it's just a step too far. I would have preferred them. They do their battle, and then they just could not win. They came off balance because they weren't working together. Like Huang has worked together. They're not working together, and they get defeated, and, Sabine doesn't need to do the thing. She just gets captured. We can be at the same endpoint without, I understand that the hero has to, that the writers feel like they have to tie in the hero's flaw into the bad guy's evil plan so that there's more drama, but I just didn't buy it, and I think it would have worked just fine in a different way. So I'm going to preemptively go 9 out of 10, but I do think it is capable of a 10 out of 10, and I hope that in the future
we've been in a drought for a while. This is like one of the top tier ones.
I'm trying to ramp
Andor.
myself down, because in those first 2
Andor.
episodes, I did think I graded on a curve, a little bit after being so fucking choked. So you know how this is, in these TVs, we are allowed to revise our scores. I'm not yet ready to revise 1 and 2, but I do think I might eventually revise them. So that is, we got 8, 8, 9, and best episode yet. Let's go into the breakdown. So, breakdown. Hu Yang's repairing the ship, and I love how motherfucker gets... I'm like, I already know what's happening here because they show, like, the HK droid, and I'm like... The second he finishes repairing the ship, he's going to be like, I finished the ship. And then that's exactly
what could go wrong.
What could go wrong,
Snap.
motherfucking assassin's
What is
droid. But I do like Hu Yang, like, throwing down. Motherfuckers, like, we just saw him training a Jedi with 4 arms. And so everything that I was saying where Disney usually fucks it up, you know, they were not fucking it up. I was like, fight back, Hu Yang. You have training. He fights back. And he's still losing against an HK assassin droid. I'm like, Hu Yang, use the 4 arms that you were just using. He uses the 4 arms. I'm like, all right, good. So he's holding his own. I like it. And then, but he's still losing. Here comes some mercenaries too. I don't want to call them humans, bipedal mercenaries. They're not robots. And he's like, all right, I'm gonna lose. So he, you know, turns the ship's lights off, rips out all the progress that he's done, and that alerts Sabine.
Ahsoka.
I like how she's like, oh, freaking that robot. But, you know, Ahsoka immediately knows he wouldn't have done that. And this is just well executed. It's such a small thing, but they're in darkness, right? And Sabine is walking when she says that. He's like, he wouldn't have done that. And then she engages her lightsabers. And the way that light happens in the dark, I was like, that is well executed. I don't know how they did that. Did they maybe use the new Disney sabers that they showed off at, you know, conventions that actually like engage and you can get the light? Because usually when they do these lightsaber battles at night, they're using one of these, like obviously a better version where they have a glow. But to go from nothing to something, but yet have that natural glow, it just looked so awesome. I just love Ahsoka's double lightsabers. Yeah. So she goes out there. They both go out there. We have a nice, cool little battle here. And, yeah, it's a little kick-ass fight scene. And they're working together, and they work together well. You know, so let's see. You know, Sabine's, you know, blocking with her Mandalorian armor. Ahsoka does what we've all done in video games where you pick up somebody and then use him as a shield. It's like shooting his back. I'm like, oh, that's so sweet. And it's like, mwah, this is high-level stuff. But before this scene, Ahsoka worries. We put the little seeds of what's coming, right? Ahsoka worries about Sabine. Yeah. And what is she worried about, Joe?
That she's she's going to make the worst decision possible because she always, in this series so far, she's made the worst decision possible every opportunity.
And, yeah, just, you know, her decision making, whether she'll do that hard choice, whether if she has to leave Ezra to save the galaxy or not, blah, blah, blah. So they set it up. It's foreshadowing. I wish they wouldn't foreshadow so hard. I think this is for a Disney audience, maybe the younger audience. I don't know, but they foreshadow. It's like, I get it.
Yeah.
You're doing a little too much. Anyway, so Shin locates the Jedi, and Baylan's like, you and Marrok go delay them, because they can delay them as where the guards can't. And she's like, is there a note of fear in your voice? And he's like, no, it's an experience. And I like that, you know, he's not just a mustache twirling guy. You know, he knows that, like, Ahsoka's high level, she might be a better fighter than I am. So we're going to slow her down, and we're going to try to get shit done. Yeah. So then they make a good team as they wrap that up, and then one request from Hu Yang is to stay together. And I'm like, they're going to split up at some point, you know, because with the setting up. But actually, in general, they stay together, mostly. Yeah. So I was proud of that.
It's like, I want you to be your apprentice.
Yeah. One thing I forgot to address, and reason why it gets higher and has a potential as 10, it's like, God damn it, Syndulla. You know, you're so fucking stupid. And Alex was like, you know, Syndulla, this is ridiculous. She should just get a group of X-Wings and go out there herself. Guess what happens? Syndulla gets her ship, and she's like, fuck all this. I like the fact that she tried the right way, and she's like, what's wrong with you? Let's do this. And then she's like, all right, fuck this. I'm doing this myself. But that she's wasting time. It's a little delay. But I understand the attempt to try to do it with permission. So she says, fuck this. She gets a group of X-Wings, just like I had wanted, despite not having permission. She's a general. It's stupid for her.
Does she take her kid
Yes.
everywhere? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, no. She never should have, but it's for the story.
No, yeah. Again, like, you're going somewhere dangerous.
The kid in battle idea, I don't know why. I think it's, It's Star Wars is what they're trying to
It's
do. We saw Jason in a battlefield before, but when it's mostly wrapped up. You know?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
this
you're
is you don't know
like, what
where
are you
you're going.
doing?
You're going with a small group. Yeah, I agree. That is just there to, hey, we have the named character from the series.
That would have been
before.
fine because like they pass each other, you talk to each other. Yeah, we got that. You don't need to bring them.
I think it was all for the line of, I've got a bad feeling about this. And I'm like, could they have done that where he was still on home one and they're like, no, we don't want to make Jason that powerful where he can sense it from that far away. So we have to bring him. It's a small thing that I would excuse. Anyway, she tries to do it the right way, but she's doing it her way now. Fuck it. Yeah. And I love it. And it's the Mando pilot dude.
Carson.
Carson, yeah. I forgot his last name, but it's Carson. And I'm like, oh, that's so cool. Where's Zeb? You know, I thought maybe Zeb was in one of the X-Wings because, like, we last saw him with Carson, right? Mm-hmm. Now, I'll have to rewatch it. Like, I already watched it twice. I want to go and rewatch it a third time. That's how much I like this episode. But he's not. It appears he's not one of the 5 X-Wings. But when I went back on a rewatch, and now I'm doubting myself, I only counted 3 cutaways. And then him. So I don't think they ever showed the 5th X-Wing, but I could be wrong about that. I'll show them here on screen now, and I just thought that there was room if they wanted to. But by the episode to not show it at all, that must mean that, no, I'm wrong and that Zeb wasn't one of the X-Wings. So that's a missed opportunity. I don't know. You want to say, is that budget because he's a special effect now, but why?
I don't mind it because, I mean, sometimes Filoni in the past has put too much stuff in these episodes where it's just like Easter egg, Easter egg, Easter egg, and it's just like maybe we're holding him for a more special moment, and I'd be fine if he shows up.
But wouldn't you think that, okay, I guess maybe Zeb is not in the same wing, X-Wing squadron as Carson.
Yeah, they were just at a bar together. They don't necessarily have
True.
to. Yeah.
But I guess they were implying that they're at the bar. They're going to end up on the same squadron, which could have worked.
Yeah.
All right, anyways, I'm loving the new Rebel cruisers in the background. I don't know if this is a new class of ship, but it makes sense that they would have new types of ships. I want it in Star Wars Armada as a model. Please, some Atomic Games. Anyways, she's like, you need to have faith to Baylan, and Baylan's like, I lost faith a long time ago. Sweet. Shin and Marrok are in our hero's way as our heroes running through the forest. Cool looking scene, and then they're there, and it's like as if as if Shin was like on the ground tracking them, and she gets, oh, we're here. I like this little subtle stuff.
We're gonna wait till the lackey's dead, and then
I love, they're like, I don't give a fuck about this. I love, and especially Ahsoka on her overhead. I think Anakin at points was like doing that. She was like, I just love. It's very Kurosawa, this episode with all the samurai. Like there's a battle going on in their heads almost, between the Ahsoka and Baylan.
What are you gonna do?
It's a lot more raw between
Sabine
Shin and Sabine. But we get a good fight between Shin and Ren and Ahsoka and Marrok. Now Marrok fails as he should. And I was like, is he going to do the twirly thing? And he does the twirly thing. And I'm like, well, you done fucked up. Because Ahsoka she's handled the Inquisitors before like the children, and she handles him like a children. But I like, and you'll see different scenes. Ahsoka loves a fight. And just like Anakin loves a fight. And she's like smiling and she's like into it. And you get that old Ahsoka back. Even though, she's a different Ahsoka, 45 years, fucking went through a lot of shit, but here you get glimpses of it. So he fails as he should, and in a cool way, he's doing the thing. He thinks he's got her, and then they do that anime thing where it's like, she had cut him, and then it is revealed that he was
poisonous gases.
he's like a skeleton. He's like a zombie with poisonous gases empowering him, and then he like falls apart and crumples. And initially I was like, huge disappointment because, I built it up in my head that, and I was wanting Marrok to talk. We've seen him talk. He doesn't talk. He's too focused. He's like, I'm about to get my ass kicked. I better shut up. I wanted him to talk. They don't talk. And I wanted it to be like, oh, he's a secret apprentice by Darth Vader. They don't even need to name drop Darth Vader, but just, his own character, and let Sam Witwer voice him. And never mention, you don't even have to do it. It's a small Easter egg for the fans. It's like, oh, that guy has, it seems like, he's like, or make reference to apprenticeship, because this show's all about master and apprentice. So it was a little bit of a missed opportunity, but it's still in lore. He was kind of controlled in the similar way to Savage Opress was controlled and empowered by the Night Sisters. All right. Yeah, there's no talk between them, apprentice versus apprentice. And like I said, I theorize that, since this is Disney, they might keep it as simple as possible. Marrok is just Marrok with no interesting backstory. And I wish they would have given him somewhat of an interesting backstory. But he found an Inquisitor lightsaber, like I thought. But this does have implications to an even bigger theory. And I'll just say that now since we're in the spoilers. So, if that's not Sam Witwer playing him, and then I saw a picture online, it's a different guy in the suit. And I was like, well, that could just be a stunt man. Yeah. And Sam could still play it. But we don't know 100%, I think, that who the voice actor was for Marrok. It might still be Sam. But if Marrok isn't Sam's voice, then who was Sam's voice when he was credited? Now, a lot of people went back and looked at the scene where she is doing the Fifth Element thing. And she's like, something is whispering to her. Something says something like, is he the chosen one? Or, a line that has been repeated before in the past. And so then people are like, is he the chosen one? Okay, who has said that? Well, Darth Maul has said it in Rebels. And that was voiced by Sam Witwer. So a lot of people are like, that's Maul's voice. Maul, maybe we'll see Maul. It's like, no, Maul's gone. Maul's dead by this point. But maybe it could be resurrected. Night Sister magic can resurrect people.
Yeah, again, that'd be sweet. Don't play with my heart.
Right. No, Joe. Then see season 4 of Rebels, Joe, because Maul is a huge part. He conquers an entire planet. You might need to see season 3 and 4 of Rebels. I think you'll enjoy it. Or is that Clone Wars? Now it's all fucking, merging.
I'll look online.
Okay, so, but there's one more theory, and this one, okay, I don't like a world between worlds, but I'll allow it. But there's one level that Filoni did in cartoon that is even more. He's like playing with gods, like Force gods, and I didn't like it at all. It's called The Father, the Son, and the Daughter, I think. And Sam Witwer also played the Son. And the Son is representing the dark side of the Force. The daughter is representing the light side of the Force. And the Father is the balance between them. And they encountered, essentially, these gods. And while Maul did say, is he the chosen one? So did the Son, almost in the exact same way. So people were wondering, oh shit, is this the Son? And well, how would that tie in? Well, Ahsoka was actually killed by the Son, and she was resurrected or force healed by the daughter, the light side of the Force. So now they're saying she might have a connection to the Son and the daughter because she was resurrected by the daughter and the Son. So we could potentially see the Son in the Ahsoka series or in the movies or this whole God thing, the Trinity. I don't want it. Don't want it. I just want that to be it was a little voice echoing through the thing. It was just Darth Maul's whatever. But why is it echoing right there? I don't know. So please don't expand on that, Filoni. That theory I don't like. I mean, I like it, but I don't want it. Okay, so moving on. So they protect the map. I'll send for you. And so she flies up. The Night Sister flies up to the ship. And then they fight, and they talk to each other a little bit, but, we learn a little bit there. And then she's easily a match for him. But her objective is to grab the map. So she's not going full force, and he's going, all right. He doesn't really want to kill her and stuff. So they fight, and Like I said, very samurai movie. Love it. Ren, on the other hand, Ren loses to Shin.
Yes. But
Go ahead, I'm joining you.
But again, this is where you have the content like more than I do. But from what I've seen, she's like, oh, she's training. He's like, no, that was terrible training. He's like, well, at least you know your basics. Barely. Barely.
Basics, yeah.
And then she's fighting Shin. I think like she's holding her off pretty well.
Yeah,
this is basics. They're both using a basic form.
But like, Shin would have not she would have gone crazy because she was already trying to kill her at the end. So there's no reason why
you want Shin to be more powerful.
Yeah. Okay. She would have kicked her ass.
And I think it's a better arc too. Like from a storytelling perspective, her getting her ass beat by someone who is for her, and she goes, you know what? Screw it. She does this, and then she's like, "Gotcha, bitch," which works out perfectly. It's like I actually really like that moment.
That's what happened,
but
bros.
She is competently fighting her with a lightsaber, and I'm just saying that even when the robot's like, "You're the worst," you're like, you barely have the basics, and I'm saying, this apprentice who is actively being trained, like, it doesn't come off like. We've seen so many times where someone is like almost playing with the other one. It's like it's like
you wanted her to do worse.
Yeah,
yes.
I don't think she should have done anywhere near as well the first time. I don't think
you lose kind of like. I think what they were like is let's do some choreograph, let's do an impressive action scene, and let's give the people what they want. Lightsaber battles. I think if they went that, it would have been probably more accurate to what you guys are talking about, the lore. Clearly, Shin has had more training than Ren.
And then
but it would have been visually disappointing. So this might have been one of those movie things.
Well, there's you can be on the back foot and barely blocking the whole time and getting your ass kicked and using your positioning and using your Mandalorian and stuff. And then you're just doing it to defend yourself. But
I like it. Okay.
But
she does. But again, she does eventually lose. Shin positions her in a way where she can hit her up against a tree. She uses that. I think. But to your points, I think they are implying that they are equally matched in technique. But Shin has the edge because she's Force trained. So that when she uses the Force, Sabine doesn't have a counter for it. Gets knocked against a tree and falls down. And then Sabine tries to use the Force. And I love how she, Shin was like, oh, you got me. And I watched that several times because I liked it. I don't know why. And then she realizes, oh, shit. That was like a gust of wind. You have no power here. And she's like, oh, yeah. I was like, yeah, I wanted it. I was hearing Alex in my head when that moment happened. I was like, dude, if that was a flamethrower, Alex would have came here and gave it a 10 out of 10.
She did use the 2-3 worst things that you can possibly use against a Force user because, again, she's stupid.
Tell us.
Fucking normal blasters. The worst thing that you can absolutely use. She used a lightsaber when she's not
lucky she didn't block one of them right back at her.
She's also not good with a lightsaber. She's already lost with it. She uses that. And then she uses the wrong wrist-mounted thing. It's like, get a scatter blaster. You'll be fine. Because it's...
Yeah, but I think they were doing like a little Mandalorian throwback. We've seen the
noisy cricket, the sparrow. I think it's sparrows, whistling sparrows, something like that.
Whistling crickets. I don't know. Anyways, so that was really cool. And then
she ninja vanishes.
Ninja vanish, yeah, that's right. But hold on, because we cut to the fight. So Sabine's kind of kicking ass. So she reaches the objective, and I didn't expect that she's like burning her hand. I was like, fuck, and then she has to let go of it, and so she is hurt in battle now. So her advantage, she's up here. Baylan is surprisingly close to her, but when she burns her hand, this is going to change the dynamic. And then because and then when that happens and the whole system shuts off, that distracts Sabine, which allows the ninja vanish to happen from Shin Hati. Then Shin Hati shows up, and you like that? Shin Hati shows up, and this Ahsoka sees Shin Hati, and you can see it in her face, like, oh fuck, if she's here.
Yeah,
I know that bitch wanted to kill my friend, so my friend is dead.
Wouldn't she be able to detect if a friend died, though?
Yeah, but still, you're
distracted at that moment.
Okay.
You have feelings, and those feelings just happen. until you learn more information. So I buy it. And then you can see that Ahsoka gets a little, angry rage in her. And she throws Shin up against, and then that pisses off Baylan. You can see Baylan, a little bit pissed here. It's get up in the ante here. And so Sabine's a little off balance. Baylan gets mad, and then he basically knocks Ahsoka off the cliff. And then but Sabine does show up, and then that's
starts blasting.
Yeah.
Again.
Dumbass. Don't do that. So she gets knocked off. Oh, she gets mad and she's gonna boom, boom, boom. And
he's like, knock it off.
Use the flamethrower. I guess she doesn't have a flamethrower, but I like his
Yeah.
And
this guy's a badass.
I love him.
I just love it every scene. He just takes over.
It sucks so much that the actor passed away because I want him to be around for a while. This might be one of the rare instances I keep thinking about it. I'm like, does he survive past this season? Are they planning to do a lot more in an actual movie with these two fallen Jedi? I would be for it because I like Baylan. But if so, they're going to have to do something that Star Wars doesn't do very often, which is recast. I don't know if there's like an example of it. You guys in chat put an example. We've had people recast under masks and stuff, but maybe not. I can't think of like a full one where it's not a different timeline or it's not a younger version. It's like, no, we have to recast. And I honestly, if they have to recast to keep the Baylan character, I think I'm for it. Instead of like doing this whole thing where, okay, let's get some footage of Rey doing stuff and then like kill him off in an awkward way off screen. Don't do that.
They'll burn his face with something and they're like, oh, he has to wear a mask now forever. And
I'd sooner accept that than trying to CGI and do it off screen or something like that and then do a different actor. But anyways, so I love the Fallen Jedi. And I like how he's not just simply, okay, he could easily kill Sabine, but she's got the map, and she's going to blow it up, and he finds a way. He does his Force thing. So this is Baylan's thing. He actually has a cool power, and he can get into their minds, and he can, like, a little bit like...
Dr. Phil.
Dr. Phil.
He's Force Dr. Phil.
Force Dr. Phil. He's
just like, yes, Ezra.
There's your trauma. Little Kylo Ranish, and he, detects the Ezra thing. So he uses the Ezra. He leverages the fact that her family was killed. She has no Mandalorian family. I guess she doesn't yet know about these other Mandalorians out there and stuff. So he leverages both of these things to get Sabine to essentially betray the entire galaxy. And give
and Ezra
and Ezra's wishes.
The most important thing is she betrayed Ezra.
Yeah. And so she gives the map to him, and then Shin attempts to kill Sabine. And I was like, "Oh fuck, is Baylan doing that?" At first, I thought I was like, "Don't do that, Baylan. That you're gonna turn into a generic villain." But he was like, "No." He's like, "Stop it." And he's like, gets his dog to heel.
When she did that, it was just like, maybe you should have led with that in any of the fights that you had with this lady before. But
yeah, but I think she would have shot her and got it off. So the view is that he cares for his apprentice. He is a man of his word, and they capture her. So, anyways, I love his fighting style. It's like a mix of Dooku and Vader. It's very heavy. The man fights heavy, and I understand why Ahsoka was having a little bit of trouble with him. And she was showing him a little respect, only fighting with one blade. She never got out the second.
Well, he wasn't trying to kill her. He didn't even want to fight the whole thing. So
definitely.
I thought it was because of her burnt hand.
Well, yeah, eventually that too, but it was mostly, just at the beginning, a sign of respect. So Syndulla finally arrives to intercept the ship, and so the X-Wings are like, all right, we detect the ship. All right, let's go get it. I'm like, all right, we're going to fucking blow this thing down. We know it's not going to be blown down, but I like the potential of it. Baylan uses his saber to destroy the map. And I'm like, yes, just fucking get rid of that stupid thing. I hated the MacGuffin. He's like, no one's following us. And I'm like, oh, shit.
I was happy.
How the
fuck
like,
are
they going to follow him?
You destroyed the map. Even more cooler points.
Yeah, it's like... It's like if they destroyed the stupid dagger in Rise of
Oh, yeah.
Skywalker, or the fucking
Oh.
the blades match up perfectly. Right. Anyway,
And the little thing in
the little
plane.
triangle thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. We hate him, and
We
so
do.
now I love Baylan even more for it's like a side reason that I shouldn't, but I do. So now Sabine is now aboard the Eye of Sion, and she notices her friends jumping into the system, and then that's when the Eye of Sion, they try to stop him, and I'm like, oh shit, are they setting up this stupid Captain Holdo maneuver?
That's what I was thinking. I was like, don't do
they're
it.
They're gonna kill everybody, or at the last minute, I was like, well, they're not gonna kill Chopper
not
and
her.
everybody in this way. So I thought they were gonna get out of the way, but these idiots are like, there's a power signature, and one of the guys, I think it's even Carson, is like, they're probably just trying to escape. No, it was another pilot. Get the fuck out of the way! But they don't get the fuck out of the way. They jump. But I'm confused because I guess they phase out, but it's enough of a shockwave to knock two of the X-Wings into each other. So, and it's a cool scene, and I like the fire, but I can't tell what happened. Like, what? So, I guess, here are my two theories. Okay, it's a ring, right? So the ring just passed them. If it was the actual ship, then it would have collided and destroyed them. But they went through, so it's more like a shock wave.
Risky move.
It's
for them
stupid,
as
risky
well.
move. It doesn't make that's one. Or the other one is we hated the Holdo maneuver. We hated how
We're gonna
Ryan
fix
Johnson
it.
fucked it up. And we're going to say that this is the way it is. It's less powerful. I don't know. But it was just awkward. And does that mean two X-Wing pilots are dead? Because they never really show those guys.
Look like they're
dead. And they're just like floating. I'm like, go get them. Or at least mention them, save them. And Sabine or Syndulla's like, and
Well, the kid's like, he's
just,
looking. I got a bad feeling about this.
I get a
He
bad-
sees
Yeah.
them dead.
yeah, I get a bad feeling about this. Really, Jason? Really?
Your name's Jason. You're in a Star Wars. Things aren't going to go well for you. So
Yeah, maybe he'll turn to the dark side because the real Jason Solo turned to the dark side. But anyways,
it presents all sorts of really. I liked it. I thought it was cool, but then like. I don't want them to explain it because anytime they explain it, they make everything worse. But again, you have an asteroid with a hyperdrive on it, and it's the best Death Star in the world if it has the ability. Because if you don't know, like hyperspace is not. It's not like you're traveling through it.
You're not in real space.
You're not in
anymore.
real space when you're doing it, because otherwise it would present also like you would never again need a Death Star. You would just put an asteroid.
So
in
when
it.
they went into hyperspace, they were no longer physically there.
But
the
there's
shockwave
enough
of
of a wake
It's
or
like
something
Event
maybe.
Horizon.
That's what I want it to be.
But we've also seen other things jump to hyperspace and not in like touch anything that was directly next to them before. So I don't know.
You're just bringing up our trauma, okay?
Yeah.
Don't bring up our trauma.
That's what I was thinking.
the
Is like,
Holdo
why would you
maneuver.
do that? Don't get them in the way. You're bringing up the past. Is just
That's a 1 in a million.
Didn't the X-Wings also
That's why
say
they were trying to prove that it was a 1 in a million, because they're trying to say that this is what normally happens in those other million. You goddamn it, Disney. I think I just solved it right there.
no,
It's like,
don't give
the 1 in the million was when it actually destroys the ship completely and collides with hull on hull, but yet the whole I don't. So live action World Between Worlds. After we see that, the camera pans. I'm like, oh shit, is she hanging on the whole time or something? Why didn't she call for Hu Yang's help or something? But no, she is laying on a floor, and I noticed it right away. I was like, fuck, this is the World Between Worlds, and I will admit, this shit looks cool. And it looks great. It's impressive. It looks a lot better than it did in animation. But we all knew it was coming. The theorists knew it was coming. So this is one thing that the theorists got right. Got Marrok wrong, got right this one right. That's what happens with theories. And he goes, hello, Snips. But I couldn't hear it. Like, I don't know if it was my speaker systems. I had to have the subtitles on. I was like, what? It's oh cool, hello Snips, got it. And then Anakin is waiting for her in the World Between Worlds. It is a good final reveal, and I'm like, they're gonna smash the black, and then they smash the black.
Yeah, I like seeing him and then the Vader thing. Sweet.
Did he save her? did he pull her from death at the last minute like Ezra did before? How is a Force Ghost physically interacting? How has he figured out the world between worlds? Who is this? Can it really be Anakin? Where he's missing his scar. Wait a minute, he has Vader's saber. If you look real close, I think it's Vader's saber and not Anakin's. Did the prop department fuck up? Did Filoni fuck? What is happening here?
It's all in her mind.
The Vader song before it cut to black.
So that's an interesting theory. What?
Oh, that this isn't necessarily real, and she's using it as like a coping mechanism when she's in the world.
Maybe she's like knocked out on the rocks.
Or no, she's actually in the world between worlds,
Okay.
but like she's imagining him, and it's not.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have no idea. I don't want this.
I think they wouldn't bring him back unless they were going to go full on, and I think that's why. Episode 5 is going to be crazy, y'all. It's like it's going to be like an explanation, we already know that in a world between worlds, you can interact with people from the past and the future, at least talking. So, and you can already do that with Force Ghosts anyway. So this could be a Force Ghost. It could be a past version of Anakin. But then it's maybe they did the non-scar and the Vader saber to let people know it's not the real Anakin from the past in a moment of time. It is a Force Ghost version, or maybe even an alternate shit, man. That's a different thing too.
They're gonna show him living with Padme, in a place with no sand and kids.
Yeah, 4 kids. I don't know. That would be kind of cool. Anyways, I like it. This whole episode made me fall in love with Star Wars again in an all new way, that they're trying to take risks. They're not playing it safe anymore, at least at the end of this reveal. They're playing a little safe before here, and now we're getting into territory that I may like or may hate. And they're exploring different aspects of the Force and the connections between the master and apprentice. And I have an interview here of Dave Filoni, who explains a little bit of the world between worlds. And this is encouraging and keeping George's legacy good and pushing the boundaries, but yet staying within certain boundaries. So this clip that I'll show you, if I don't get copyright claim, has me encouraged about what he's going to do with it. So right here now.
More like what the wolf tells Ezra. It's more about knowledge. Knowledge that you can use for your benefit of good, or knowledge that will lead to destruction. That's what it's about. But it's not my intention that it be this ability to walk through into somebody else's world. We have to keep being dedicated to being original and creative, and sometimes we take chances, and sometimes we do weird things like create Bendu or mysterious wolves. But I think as long as you work off the principles of the Force that George set up, that it doesn't change it, and you don't erode what makes Star Wars special.
Okay, so that doesn't seem too bad. It seems like he's like, I want to explore, but I don't want to go too far with it. Where, like we were talking about, Avengers doing
multiverses. And all this, like, come with me.
They're not going to go too far with it, is my hope. And I don't think Kathleen is going to let him, unless she's finally admitted privately, I fucked it up. Can you, fix it, wipe it away with a different world? But I think she's too prideful for that. So, easily the best Star Wars since The Mandalorian. Episode 5 is supposedly going to break the internet. We may finally get the trilogy we deserve. Potentially, kind of pushing aside the current one. I mentioned we could still have Luke Skywalker being a badass going against Thrawn, Han, Leia, Lando. Would you be upset if they were like, no, they're busy, in like the final battle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Just seeing what people's expectations are, because now we have to have CGI versions, or just cast. What's that guy's name? Cast a Winter Soldier.
Right?
Yeah,
Sebastian
that's
Stan.
fucking perfect.
Yeah.
Just cast him.
Is.
God damn it! What's wrong with you? Does he have like dirt on your grandmother? Like what? Why just cast the man? Well, then if he has dirt, he would be cast.
He would be.
Maybe they just
put me in, give you millions.
He kicked her dog or something. How was Ahsoka responsible for Sabine's family death? Sabine put the whole galaxy at risk because of her boy toy Ezra. She wants to see him again. That's the one part where it's like, all right, I get it. You're just trying to push the story forward. And
But
tie
isn't
it
the whole
together.
point of Rebels to get captured so you can escape and then do stuff, right? So maybe this is the master plan the whole time.
That would be nice.
Great escape.
And it looks like Marrok found an Inquisitor saber. Whose could it be? Could be like whose Inquisitor saber is that?
Uncle Fester.
Uncle Fester's. Yeah. So it's okay not to tie a character's motivation into the bad guy's evil plot, right? You just have them lose the duels and due to not cooperating.
Nonsense.
No, you got to make them vulnerable. Get in their minds.
I know.
like,
But they
stop.
could have done it again. Anyways, that's it for this one. Really, really enjoyed it. Could have been a 10 out of 10. I'm going to end up at a 9 out of 10, and I could come back and revise. We'll see. All right, guys. So anything else? We covered everything. Fuck yeah. Oh, Hu Yang is like, ladies, he's on the planet. I just love Hu Yang. Okay. All right. Well, I'll see you guys on the next Angry Joe show. Bye, everybody.